to that sort of composition on this role. And in fact, yeah, he and Mickey were two of the first players to really sort of get in there. And people were very impressed with Jake, obviously switching from DPS in that setup to playing that flex support role. And no one should be doubting this guy who's been absolutely grinding higher ladder. Glister switch off with the Widowmaker here after looking for an early pick. It will be the Tracer now as the shots start to wrap around the right side. You can see in the middle of your screen.
Yeah, trying to play for some of that high ground. Down with Jake here is that Dante right away wins the Tracer duel with Glister. So you love to see that if you're an Outlaws fan. Dante there with Jungkook, they'll deal with Smurf. So the payload will stop. It's Violet trying to get an angle.
Look at Violet, look at this poise. Doesn't move a muscle on the player cam. Just absolutely dialed in. Dante, on the other hand, is forced back. A couple of those for 3 shots hitting. So now Dante's been kept honest. The cart slowly lumbering here as there's tons of poke damage from the high ground now.
Well, Houston needs these fights to go quick. Any elongated fight, they don't have enough healing to deal with this, especially when they have the on the other side for the shock. So you want to see fights if you're an Outlaws fan, just like how we saw the last one. You know, Dante finds a pick onto the Tracer, really quick kind of like assassination on the Smurf. Those are the types of fights you want to see. You don't want to see these dragged out fights.
Jake's in trouble. He gets hit with a bardic grenade, and yep, Glister eventually going to be able to take him down, but Smurf invested so heavily in getting to the high ground, he eventually is taken down. That's a pretty early personal bubble used by Choi Kyoben, who was forced out of the choke, and San Francisco get absolutely backhanded.
Yeah, I mean, look, they invest a lot to try and get that high ground. Nano boost onto Smurf. He jumps up there, not able to really live long at all. They get Jake, but that's not really the hugest target, right? Dante and Jungkook in the backline are able to deal with like 3 or 4 at that moment. So players coming off the spawn. This is the shock yet again, trying to take the high ground. No Lucio, so they can't really get there fast. It's going to take a bit.
Happy knows they're coming too. Sees him on the low ground. Okay, Dynamite eaten by Defense Matrix, but Bob is still active. He goes straight into the breach, and it'll be tenting the cart for a while. This will allow Happy to safely reposition backwards. San Francisco are still racking their brains to try and find a way to break through this setup. Hi, Bob. I've missed you, buddy.
Jake went pretty far back. I think he's just trying to shadow where Glister's moving, because Glister's
He's
still
sitting
behind.
on Crimzo.
Yeah.
Oh my! You love to see it. Some people just have everything. Great caster, great player, good looking. Jake Lyon, take a bow. Nicely done there, dealing with Glister pushing in here, and that relieves so much of the pressure from the Outlaws now. Just steely focus here for Jake, and San Francisco are going to have to try it again. It looks like Glister getting in, finding a pick on the Zenyatta is not going to be their ticket to victory here.
And Jake knew that Glister was behind enemy lines. He knew he was up there. And even though they like saw each other and, you know, Glister ran away, he knew that Glister was going to try and come back for Crimzo. Tries to get a pulse bomb on a Crimzo, force out Transcendence. That's a huge win for the shot.
Cloud driver from Jungkook. Glister's going to try this once more. Coach Gun will be a problem, and he recalls before he's knocked back by that ability. Piggy has a Graviton Surge available, and that's the rally, the first ultimate used here. Smurf forced to use a Primal Rage, but he's hit with the Discord, and now he's inside the Graviton Surge! He is denied! The bouncer Piggy meets him at the door and says, sorry, you must be this fast to get in. He will eventually fall as Glister's pressure eventually finds some sort of mark, but really it's just the 2 DPS players of San Francisco trying to find something. And they come up with very little. 30 seconds on the clock here. San Francisco are at risk of being held on this first point.
And you're not seeing Violet have the same impact that he had the other day. When you're trying to play the McCree into Ashe, especially with these long sight lines, it's just like what I was talking about, maybe Happy playing the Widowmaker. He's just going to outrange Violet, be able to just pick him apart, do constant damage at range. So Smurf trying to get close to the cart. All the ultimates here side with the Outlaws.
I mean, Smurf's trying to find a way in. He's taken so much damage. Adaptive shielding already used, and he's run down by Piggy. FD God is removed by Crimzo care of headshot. And San Francisco Shock have barely begun to play the game before the Outlaws shut them down. Dante, he's pleased. Let's hear from Houston in their comms.
What?
You gotta do it after.
Look-see. Hey, it's not over. It's not over. You can full out this map. It's global. Like, we can get choked here, so let's play really careful, really smart. Like, let's see what they're playing. We can react. We can counterpick. So don't.
And so millions around the world swoon collectively there as Jake again establishes some of that seniority in command. Once again, the message is the same. Guys, we can lose this map. We can be full held here. Let's focus, and there's much more game to play, man.
It's a great point, though, that he makes, is that they also have the advantage of being able to go back and just counterpick with, you know, their two main DPS players in. Seeing Violet and Glycerin on the other side, it's going to be McCree and Tracer, right? So you have an idea, and there's so many different things they can play off of this if they want. So it's really just what they feel the best and most comfortable playing. Jake played really strong in the Brig that time. Being able to protect Crimzo against Glister there was huge. Definitely deterred Glister from going back there again, trying to find the pick. It's Houston in a position, I mean, you think about it, like, Crimzo doesn't get picked off last map, right? Who knows what happens in that one final fight on Blizzard World. Like, they're in a position to maybe win this 3-0, but in a very good spot to at least grab Dorado.
White-knuckled grip for San Francisco on their peripherals as they're now fighting to stay in this map and avoid being on the wrong end for match point. They wouldn't have thought, I'm sure. Eventually, San Francisco must believe the hype around them, of course. The team doesn't look that much weaker as opposed to last year, but the competition's gotten bigger.
Yeah, to get the Ana up here on the high ground, being able to just do some damage is Dante will play the Echo here, so I actually like the Echo pick. Put some more pressure on the Violet. Make him beat you on this McCree. We saw him do it yesterday. Just see if he can do it again. In that first half, he was really a non-factor.
Violet being outranged here as well. He has to deal with that Ana in that back corner. And the Echo constantly looking for him here. Everybody looking for Violet. He has to abscond pretty quickly. But Glister's already gone down. Bites off a little bit more than he can chew. The rest of the Shock were already in full-scale retreat, and he was left on his own.
This might be over quick, man.
Bye.
That Joy, he would have dropped at the hands of Dante anyway, but Dante Jake getting in the mix. See how strong his Echo is with the focusing beam, just putting down damage.
I mean, this is going to be over, Matt.
Yeah, this is one-sided.
He got ears down. I mean, Glister tries to touch the point there, but that's about all she wrote. The Outlaws deliver a stunning suplex to the Shock here on Dorado. And they go up 2-0 in this series after a draw, which could quite easily have gone their way too. Not many mistakes being made by this Texan squad, and the Shock, they look like they have no idea how to stop this. They try the secret weapon. Violet comes in at DPS, and it is not enough to stop the Outlaws.
I mean, the two maps that the Outlaws have won have been blowouts. With, you know, Lijiang, there were some close points, but really just dominating, it felt like, from the Outlaws. And in this one as well, being able to get like a full hold pretty much, not even allowing them to get that first checkpoint, and then just cruising on their offensive side. It's a really good performance from the Outlaws, one map away. Can you close out the Shock, though? That's the thing, right? Back-to-back champs, can you close them out?
Absolutely. If you're Junkbuck and Harsher, you're hoping that the students can surpass the Master and Krusty now. Stick around after the break, ladies and gentlemen. Houston will try and close the series. San Francisco just want to stay alive.